one of the new features that we got with the new patch is independent training. This feature is not only brand new to us, but also relatively new to the Japanese server. We are getting this feature, I believe, about 4.5 years earlier than we should have, if we just followed the schedule. So, what are my initial thoughts? Do I think that this is a brand new revolution in how you train all of your Uma Musume? Or will this be a completely useless feature that you never ever use? Or is it somewhere in between? What's good about this feature is that it is a incredibly powerful tool for the things that it does well. What are these things that it does well? For one, it's an incredible time-saving tool. If you are not going to use that TP anyways, just having it spit out you a runner that may or may not be useful as a parent, just as a farm, is incredible. Just for people actually using all of their TP. Something else that the trainer does incredibly well is that it will train decent parents. I still think that if you manually go in and train up your parents, you will have better results, but there are certain things that the trainer does way better than normal people. For one, it just automatically wins races. So long as you have the aptitude for that race and you haven't done more than 3 races in a row, you will basically always win the race. This is in comparison to actual trainers, where there are difficult races to win, like the Tennosho Spring, the Kika Show. These two can be run killers, especially at lower stamina levels. It will also win any super difficult races. Like, for example, in Bamboo Memories campaign, there is a point where you need to go against Ogure Cap at the, I want to say, Yasuda Kinen, and her stats are insane. You need to buy a bunch of skills, have good stat lines, and frankly just get a little bit lucky to actually win this race in campaign. The auto trainer just automatically clears it for you. I think that this will be an incredible tool for more casual and less invested players. A common play pattern that I think will emerge is right at the end of the day, before someone goes to sleep, they will do a run. They will re-roll the sparks, that 60 TP. Then they'll queue up a run with the auto trainer while they sleep. That's 90 TP. Basically all of your TP used in a matter of 30, 40 minutes at most. Then, when they wake up, they do their dailies. They complete that run, which completes their 2 dailies requiring them to win a race and requiring them to complete a career. They can re-roll the sparks that they got from that runner right at the beginning using the TP that accumulated while they slept. Then they complete any other ones of their dailies. Their daily legend races, their daily races, do their team trials, all of that. And just like that, all of their stuff is done. They're pretty clear on TP. And then the next time they log in is again at the end of the day, where they do their one run, and they just repeat that. This playstyle, I think, will be incredibly beneficial to any of these types of casual players. If you think about it, this moves the average TP that they use per day from 30 up to 120, which is a huge increase. A lot of people, when they play this game, they might only do 1 run a day. So increasing their average TP usage from 30 a day to 120 per day is that's a 4 times increase right there. You only get 144 TP per day, and they're close to using all of it just by doing this type of play. As for things that the auto trainer isn't good at, like I said earlier, it does not build your aces. It will not play scenarios like make a new track correctly. Make a new track, I think, is pretty dead with this. I think this adds kind of the final nail in the coffin, because although there are some niche uses of it, like, I need to win a race, and this on a certain day to farm a banner, but the racer that I want to run it on has a required race on this. Let's just say Nambu High with Elcondor Pasa, because she has to run the Mainichi Ocon the same day. That's pretty much the only use case that I can see make a new track over running any of the other scenarios. In my opinion, the Sparks are worse. If you were looking for like specific Sparks, Unity Cup is probably better. Anyways, if you want to hit, higher ranks and get more SP, Grand Live seems to be better. So there's really only that really, really small niche that Make a New Track fits into. So as far as cons go, what does independent training not do well? Well, for one, this will not build you an ace for a CM or for your team trials team, for basically anything. Now, if you have a bunch of B pluses and A's in your team trial team, it might create something better than that. Otherwise, it's not going to create anything worthwhile that will actually win a CM, team trials at higher ranks, anything like that. You get to choose your skills at the end. You get to very loosely guide it on, if you want it to have higher speed, higher stamina, or what's, called balanced. But as far as I can tell, that only shifts the statistics around maybe, 200 at most. And even that's pushing it. They are not going to create you a ace. It will not beat the game, quote unquote, for you. You still need to put in investment. You still need to put in time. You still need to go in manually if you want to get good runners for a CM. It will also, and for that matter, it's still, I think, necessary to go out and manually build your parents if you want the hyper optimized parents. Because, again, it's not going to prioritize picking up skill hints. It's not going to prioritize other things. Something else that the auto trainer can't do is, while it can do unique events or secret events, for example, on Tokai Teo, if you win the Kikisho, you get a secret event that gives you a head-on hint. It'll give you that. What it won't do is some of the more complicated secret events. For example, Myono Top Gun secret event requires you to win a race, a G1 race in each style. You cannot set it up so it will do a G1 race as a front runner, as a pace chaser, as a late surger, and as an end closer. Meaning that if you really wanted to get a Myono Top Gun with, let's just say, straightaway spurt, you would have to go in and do that manually. The auto trainer is very good at what it does, but at top levels, I think that this will be an incredibly useful tool for saving time. I myself am currently using the trainer to try and get better dirt parents for the upcoming Champions Meet while I make this video. I don't need to be playing the game to do that, and I can deal with the fact that maybe some of its choices are not going to be as good as the choices that I would personally make, because it's saving me time while I do this. However, like I said, it's not going to be as effective as a human. My own initial looks at Grand Live, I am getting on average UG4, UG5. Sometimes if I low roll, it'll be like UG1. And my high roll has been a UG7. And this is only, day one of the scenario. It's obviously going to change, and I don't have my max limit break tachyon yet. So I haven't been using it. So that's likely to go up, that rating. The trainer on the best day seems to be able to get an SS. This is not factoring in the bug that was recently patched with both Gold City and Yano Muteki. Yano Muteki had a secret event that was triggering multiple times and giving huge amounts of stats that you weren't supposed to have. And Gold City, her secret event just reacted very, very well with how the auto trainer worked. Both of these have been patched today and are no longer in. And besides those two, I haven't seen anyone who was able to get higher than a SS with the auto trainer. It certainly hasn't been my experience that I've gotten anything higher than an SS. You get about an SS or an S+. As far as setting up independent training, it's very easy. You just click career. You choose whichever scenario you want to set up. You choose who you want as your runner. So, been running El Condor Pasa. You choose your inspirations. You build your deck. In this case, I would just recommend building a deck how you would normally play the scenario. Cards that have skill point bonus are very good. So Sweep Tosho, the new Agnes Tachyon, anything that gives skill point bonus is very effective. Switch that out. And scenario cards are also very good, like scenario pal cards like Light Hello for Grand Live, Riko Kashimoto, Kazuna. These will all perform well in the scenario that they're scenario linked for. You will get the highest amount of stats and skill points on average from Grand Live. So a normal career starts like that. Independent training, you click on this. You have all of these different choices. Stamina, sprint. If you click stamina, it'll try and prioritize actually clicking stamina at some points. I would recommend this for Grand Live if you want to get stamina sparks, because most of the Grand Live builds have all been under 600 stamina, which means they can't spark 3-star stamina. As far as races, it's up to you. Do remember, especially if you have a goal that's not set. For example, Smart Falcon and Oguri Cap both have goals that are not set, in that you can run any races so long as they fulfill the criteria and you need to beat them. If you just clicked, start training right now, you would fail the run because they would go through that and not do the races that are required. So if they have non-set goals, you have to edit this. Otherwise, you don't have to, but I would still recommend actually setting up this, as it gives more skill points. It makes your legacies better on Affinity, and you get all of the rewards for doing so. Personally, I have not seen a difference in rating based off of the amount of skill points gotten. If I was playing an actual run of Grand Live, I wouldn't be doing any of these races because it would affect my rating too much. But for the auto trainer, it doesn't seem to really matter. So as long as you have the aptitude for the race, you will generally win it. The only exceptions are if you run more than 3 races in a row. If you run 3 races in a row, you can still get a skin condition and whatnot, but the bot will just cure it. But you won't actually start failing races until you do 3 or more in a row. At least in my experience. You are able to set skills that you would like to prioritize. this is where it's very helpful to know what your support cards actually do. Because in branching choices, it'll choose what it thinks is the best choice, whether or not that actually is the best choice. So if we go back to my deck, I have 2 cards that I am looking for specific hints on. On the Smart Falcon, there is a branching choice out of the her first event that gives either groundwork or focus. I want groundwork, so I set it so that it will choose groundwork. Same thing with this Machikane Fukukitaru card. The last choice on her event change either gives you a choice between skill points and right-handed. I want right-handed, so I have it set to prioritize these. Otherwise, the other choices, for the most part, don't matter to me. You can save any of your schedules here and just load them up as needed. Once you see this, you have to just wait 50 minutes. But while this 50 minutes is going, you can do anything else. If you have daily races to do, if you have team trials to do, you can do all of that. Anything that does not require the career tab, you can do. So the independent training just finished. Pretty good amount of skill points. Won every single race that I entered her in. This is a nice feature right here that it actually shows everything that you pull in. You get an idea of how much, if you were to run all of these races, I believe it was 27, how much that actually translates to in real items. This would have been super helpful for my last video on currency. Do note that right now we have double rewards for the new scenarios, so in regular play, cut all of these rewards in half. You can see exactly what your support cards actually provided. You can see how much +1 skill points actually did add in the grand course of the run, compared to like Kitasan Black and Marzensky. 200, 200. Gave me an extra 70 skill points. Can show what we got from our inspirations. Not super good, but we can also see what we got from each card. It looks like basically none of my events actually finished. Oh, no, Top Runner. So we got the Marzensky event to finish, but we did not get get Kitasan's one to finish. And it looks like we probably failed Fine Motion. Anyways, you can see what it inspired here. Anyways. So afterwards, you've seen people build inspirations. You don't really need to see me do this. So here we have every single independent trained Uma Musume that I've gotten. And this will give you a kind of a general idea of what you can kind of expect. This was one that I created in Unity Cup. And I just set it on a general Unity Cup strategy, which it is unable to do. This is a general Unity Cup deck that if a real player was playing, you would be able to get a pretty good score in Unity Cup. As you can tell, stats are pretty bad. But as you can see, she still won every single race that I put her in. The inspiration, though, was pretty decent. Got 3-star wit, got a bunch of sparks of varying usefulness. But all in all, this was a pretty good demonstration that even if the run's mediocre, you can get a good inspiration off of it. This one, again, pretty decent inspiration. This one was ran in Unity Cup, and I also ran a bunch of races in this one, won every single one of them. This one was ran in Ura Finale. Again, as you can see, you win every single race. Inspiration was not super good. This one I want to say was also ran in, yeah, this was ran in Unity Cup. But you can see, you can get a lot of sparks from this, and considering that I put in basically no input into any of these, we're getting some pretty decent inspirations for what I'm doing, which is basically nothing. Did a run of Grand Live with Sweep Tosho. I tried this a few times, trying to get her restraint and a bunch of greens to act as like a Kopana Riki parrot, and didn't have any luck, but I only tried it twice. Obviously, with inspirations, you can low roll. But if you look at the ranks, you know, A+ for the two non Unity / Grand Live events. Then S's is generally what I got when I ran Unity Cup. And then SS, I even got an SS Plus on my latest one for Grand Live. So overall, it seems pretty consistent. And like you saw the inspirations. I think it was especially like this one had a ton of sparks. I think this one was pretty, yeah, this one was really good for the most part as far as inspirations go. You can see that, especially since basically to set up all of these, this maybe took me a grand total of an hour of actual gameplay. And that was partially me, you know, adjusting things, micro adjusting things. Once you have this set up, this takes absolutely no time to do. And these inspirations are better than a lot of inspirations that people are out there building. I still think that if you know how to build inspirations, you'll be able to build better ones yourself because you have more input. You can ensure that every single one of these, like I said, stamina is low on this one, stamina is below 600 on this one, stamina is way below 600 on this one, stamina is way below 600 on this one. This one, I believe I ran all stamina sparks and got it above 600. So, same with this one. So you do need to take some sort of look in. This one I was able to get over 600, I think, because I was running the Smart Falcon card. And it was also Unity Cup. But you do not have influence over what the stats actually turn out. You don't get to type in, I would like 1100 speed, 600 stamina, 1100 power, and it doesn't like try and hit that. You have that slider between stamina, balance, and sprint, and how much influence that actually has is debatable. This one was run with stamina. I believe this one was run with sprint. The stats are different, but how much of influence it actually has is still up in the air. And again, just for comparison, I'm going to show off some of the runs that I did manually in Grand Live. This was my first Grand Live run. The sparks are kind of low rolled, but still, you know, Uma Stand, Pace Chaser Corner, Pace Chaser Savvy. Not great, but not a huge amount, but you know, I had much more choice over what I actually got to choose, and rolled 1-star guts. A UG7 was my next run. Got 3-star power and some useful sparks. When I ran Sweep Tosho, I got a UG6. Low rolled again. This was a really bad Smart Falcon run, but still, you know, got some decent sparks. This was also a really bad Smart Falcon run. And again, you know, low rolled speed, the speed spark, but got some good sparks that could be useful. So even though, you know, I would say that on average, if I just got a little bit luckier, I think that these inspirations would probably be better than the ones built by the things, but only a little bit. And the rank is a big deal. Even my super low roll UG, that's still a letter grade above the high roll that I had in my runs. And then, you know, my good runs, UG6, UG7, UG6. And these are just day ones while I'm still figuring out the scenario. All of those blow out of the water, even the highest roll that I had with the auto trainer. So overall, I think that the independent training is a excellent new addition that fulfills a incredibly useful niche to both casual and competitive players. For casual players, it'll be more useful both to get stuff up to snuff and to just get more resources, get better legacies, get all of this, use all of your TP per day. And then for more competitive players like myself, it'll be a very good time-saving tool where, yeah, maybe if I went in manually, I could get a really good legacy, but this provides me the same thing, like a 90% efficiency. 90% as effective option at, you know, a fifth, not even a fifth, like 5% of the effort. It's very useful to anyone who has busy schedules. And generally, I think it's a great addition. But like I said, it will not build you an ace. It will not win you your CM. It will not carry you to the highest levels of team trials. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, if you enjoyed what I had to say, please like and subscribe. We are getting super close to 500 subscribers. This format is a little bit different than what I normally do on my channel. If this is your first time here, I usually do highly scripted videos with a lot of research. This being brand new, this is just kind of my first impressions. That's why it has a different name than my normal series, Uma Musume Bootcamp. If you're interested in that, please check out videos on that. I have a pretty good video on legacies. If some of the things that I said about legacies confused you, it shows exactly how you would create a good legacy. Also, my latest video in the series is on currency and farming methods, and some of the stuff is immediately out of date because of this. Not in what I said, but you take the what I said about how to farm things and just apply the independent training for that, and it'll work very well. Anyways, like I said, thank you for watching. Leave a comment, and I hope to see you again next time.